And hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try new things. I'm Marcus, and that's Nick.
Hello.
Nice. And now we're done. Good. You can go home. We woke up early. We wrapped up the podcast early. Get to go to bed early. We like it.
I thought to myself, how long could I stay silent and just let you go? Where would you go? What would you do next? Imagine I
would-
said nothing else.
Well, my stomach's kind of hurting, so I would probably just go poop and leave you there in silence for like however long it took me to
Guys,
poop.
welcome to Now Try This. Like he said, I'm Nick. That's Marcus. We try each other's favorite things every week, and that is the show. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Live, if you're here live, thank you for downloading the podcast. If you downloaded the podcast, you can find us everywhere at Now Try This Cast. Look at old episodes, follow us on Instagram, join the Patreon, become part of the conversation. But guys, that's not why we're here today. We're here today because Nick still doesn't know what he's going to give as a challenge today. Marcus, I'm stressed.
You're stressed? Hold on.
Yeah,
You have an entire episode to get through before you have to decide what you have to give as a challenge. That's an end
Marcus,
of the episode thing.
no, but if I decide now that I don't have that weight
Oh my
over me, the
God.
whole. Do you want something old or something new?
I don't know.
Help me, buddy.
What's old?
Listen,
Old.
this is your
Give me
friend.
something old. Give me something old. We've been doing relevant things.
Okay.
I'm
You want
tired
something
of it.
irrelevant? Got it. Done. Easy. I got it. See, that's all I needed.
This
This is
week-
I needed you to make the bed, and now
Yeah.
you get to lie in it.
Great,
Now we're all
great.
set.
Guys,
Good,
this
perfect.
week we are here to talk about ReZero.
Why are we doing that, Marcus?
I think we're here to talk about ReZero because it's a Patreon submitted challenge.
Oh,
And it is the winner of our September fan challenge over on our Patreon.
Marcus, I don't understand. Somebody goes over and says, "Yo, do this thing," and that's it. That's easy.
It is that easy. All you have to do is go on Patreon and sign up for the $5 tier, and you can submit challenges to us every single month, and we put them together in a poll. And if you're a $1 patron or a $5 patron, you get to vote on that poll. And you would think that system's flawed. You would think that, oh, wouldn't everyone just vote for their own thing? But no, somehow it works out because everyone on the Patreon is a fucking champ.
Patron.
Every patron is a champ.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't do that kind of stuff.
No, never. They wouldn't dare.
No, they wouldn't dare. I mean, yes.
It sounds like we're being facetious, but it's true.
No, it's
cutthroat.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's cutthroat. People will actively not vote for their own thing because they see something better than their recommendation on the list, and they will vote for that thing, which is awesome.
Almost like Joseph's every month.
So
we got. That's just a little Josh to our third best friend who doesn't like doing podcasts. So it's just Marcus and I. Marcus, listen. Here we are. Last week we did a show. It was fun. What did we do?
We did Green Knight last week, which was my challenge to you. We talked about Arthurian legends. We talked about witches. We talked about A24 and how beautiful Dev Patel is.
He's a very, very beautiful man. He still hasn't slid into my DMs. I would consider that a failure, guys. Don't let this podcast episode fail. Get together with Tapai Nagasuki, who has written the light novel for ReZero, Starting Life in Another World. Marcus, what the fuck's a light novel, and why are we doing this thing?
God.
What is this?
I had to Google what a light novel was, and I still don't understand. Basically, there are mangas and there are light novels. Mangas are graphic novels. Yeah. Mangas are graphic novels with images and words and it's comic books. Light novels are novellas, so they're not quite as long as novels. They're usually novella length, and they have pictures, but not a lot of pictures, but enough pictures that you can get a sense of what's going on in the environment. So it's like
6.
There's several pictures.
It's like a low number.
Yeah. It's a low number,
and there's
but there's pictures in it.
Sure.
Which is nice. It's handy.
Yeah, and then this light novel, ReZero Starting Life in Another World, caught on. It got turned into a manga, which then got turned into anime, which then got its own OVAs, and then a second season, and a third is coming. And that is what we are doing today, ReZero. Before we get to that, Marcus, have you tried anything new in your life before this moment of doing this podcast? Probably the answer is no, because we haven't told the audience that we did the whole fucking first season of this goddamn show.
What have I tried new? I had a couple of minutes to try the game 12 minutes, and each
Wow,
loop
that was
is only
nice.
12 minutes. So I had 12 minutes to play the game because that was all the free time I had this week because we had to watch an entire season of this thing.
Nice.
Um, but it was good. It was a good time. It's an interesting game, very interesting looping mechanic. I want to see where it's going because right now it seems like it's gonna have a dumb ending, and I am hoping that's not the case.
Wait, I'm confused. What what's the game? Tell me.
You
You can
are
skip that part.
I'm it's hard to figure out. Basically, you are
Oh, okay, great.
stuck in a time loop in an apartment where in 12 minutes a cop knocks on your door and murders your wife. And you have 12 minutes to figure out what are you going to do in response to that. The main character is played by who's that guy? Not Dan Aykroyd, Jesus Christ. Um Professor X, what's his name?
Patrick Stewart?
No, the other James McAvoy.
James McAvoy?
James McAvoy is the lead. Daisy Ridley is his wife, and Willem Dafoe is the villain.
Oh, wow. That's fucking wild. That's
It's a
some grade A
stacked
talent.
cast, but not a stacked plot right now. I am
Oh.
kind of annoyed by
Well,
the
it
game.
sounds like it sounds like you have some more minutes to unlock. Funny that you're talking about time loops because that's what we are doing today.
Well, that was a smooth
That's what the show's
transition, but I
about.
was going to ask you, what have you tried new?
Marcus, I just guest starred on the Conquest of Bliss podcast. That'll be coming to everybody's ears relatively soon. I talked all things Now Try This and about how amazing this show is and how amazing this show is. I repeated it because it's
Double
twice as good
amazing.
as it's double
Always,
amazing all
baby.
the way
Hell
across
yeah.
the sky.
Let's go. Let's
Mhm.
go. Let's go. Okay, so we're here to talk about ReZero, Nick. I want to know. I want to get into your mind. First off, shout out to Old Man Rom
Whoop.
over on Patreon, who was the fan challenge winner this month, and is the reason that we're doing this. Which, now that we've watched the show, we know Old Man Rom is a reference to this show. So maybe he just joined to make us watch the show, which is pretty cool.
You know, sometimes I feel real smart in life, Marcus. Sometimes I'm like, I'm the smartest person in the room. I walk in, I'm like, everybody's a dummy. And then sometimes I come into this podcast, and then you say shit like that, and then I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's Old Man Rob? What are you talking about?
Old Man
What are you talking
Rom.
about?
He was the shopkeeper in the
Oh,
first
the
series
old man.
of Lives. He's the old man named Rom from the show.
Oh, the big
The big
guy.
guy.
Old Man
Yeah. Old
Rom.
Man Rom.
Whoa, what a level of inception.
Uh-huh. 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 It's planned. So you can also make your screen name something you want us to try
I feel
when
like that's
you join our
dangerous because
Patreon.
then people are gonna win and then stop supporting us on Patreon.
Well, Old Man Rom, I hope you stay a patron and suggest new things every month.
Thank you so much for giving us the show, and thank you so much for telling us we had to watch the first season because, gosh, I really enjoyed watching 25
Honestly,
episodes
we'll
of the
take you
show.
guys as listeners through the journey. Old Man Rom
Yeah.
submitted it, and when he won, he was very kind and he was surprised. But he also said that, I mean, I'm also assuming it's a guy because his name is Old Man Rom, but it could not be.
That
They,
cisgendered mind of yours, you got to get that shit out
you're,
of there.
I mean, man is in the title, but uh, they suggested that we watch the entire season. And I've never been more happy for a clarification in my life because I think that he made the right call. That
What do you
having,
mean?
I think, oh, here, he's Old Man Rom's in the chat. Woo!
Guys, if you want to join the chat, that's twitch.tv/now try this cast, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
Okay, so
uh,
Old Man
Great
Rom
moderator
says
in there.
they joined in part because they wanted us to try ReZero and that they liked us back from before the break.
And they also said in the chat that they love us so much that they're gonna sign up for Patreon 6 times. Wow,
Hell
thank you
yeah,
so
let's
much,
go.
old
Okay.
man
So
Rom.
I was so happy that they
Mhm.
suggested that we watch all the episodes because I think that it was needed. And we'll get into
This is
more of it.
I don't disagree with you, but I disagree with you. So like there's the first
Wait,
episode,
you disagree?
right?
I want to
I
fight you
Yep.
so hard.
Yeah. The first
Okay,
episode
what's up?
is such a good first I finished that first episode and I'm like, solid. I'm done, right? That was perfect. What a great primer for a show. Awesome.
Oh my
And
god.
then as we watched just a little bit more, I was like, well, no, now I can't stop. And then we got to the middle and I was like, I fucking hate this show. And then we got to the end and I'm like really excited for season 2. So I'm like circled
Well, I
back.
guess
Like,
we
I
know where
agree
you
with
are.
you. I agree with you that we had to watch more than a couple, but I'm not sure why we had to watch more than the one because that
Nick,
first episode is solid.
Nick,
But yeah.
I gotta call you out a little bit right now.
What? No.
You watched a different show than me, technically. Nick
I did.
watched the director's cut, and I watched the actual 25 episodes. I watched all 25 episodes.
Wow.
So,
That actually, wait a thought.
well, cause
That
on
actually.
the just called you out, buddy. So here's the reason why. Because the first episode of the 25 episode one sucks ass. Like it is
Oh, really?
fine. It is fine. It's just not very good. I feel like it doesn't get you into it. So maybe the director's cut version was a little better, a little tighter. But I had
I feel
actually
like it
watched
probably
this episode
wasn't.
before. I had tried watching ReZero
Oh.
years ago, not years ago, whenever it first came out. I tried watching the first episode and I hated it. And I was like, this seems like it sucks. I'm going to give it time and let other
Oh.
people decide if it's good. And then eventually I'll watch it if people decide it's good. Which they did, but you know, it got on the list of things to watch and I never got around to watching it. So
My keyboard died. My keyboard's not working.
tell me about the first episode from your perspective because you
I
liked it.
can't because my keyboard's broken. Like it literally isn't typing. What the fuck
So for
happened?
me, the first
Can you
episode,
still see? Hold on. Can you
I
see
can
me?
see
Everything's
you,
fine,
I
right?
can hear you.
Okay, well
You're
my
good.
keyboard's not working.
For me,
Hold
the
on. So
first
so so
episode,
the director's cut. Just to finish off your point,
yes,
the reason I watched the director's cut is I'm not a weeb like Marcus, so I don't have Crunchyroll, but I do have family members with HBO Max, and on HBO Max is the director's cut. Was your first episode like 50 minutes long?
yes, the first episode was 50 minutes long.
I think we watched the same thing. I think we just, I'm pretty sure we watched the same
Okay, well
thing.
then tell me why you liked it, because I can tell you why I didn't like it, but I want to know what about it
Well, okay,
did
so
you
so
like?
so the show, okay, I knew nothing about the show.
Uh-huh.
You had told me at the end of the last episode, once we got off, that it was one of those. What was the Japanese word you used? Don't tell me. All right, tell me. I don't want to be offensive. Tell me what it was.
Isekai.
It's an isekai. Yes, which is a very classic trope of person out of time, out of world into another time, another world. It happens all the time in pop culture, movies, TV show, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very common anime. Marcus, before we watched the show, I would have bet you money. I would have put money down that this show had something to do with hack sign. How are you gonna give me another thing that looks like one person into the wrong world that also has weird hack sign zero? I thought this was the same thing. I thought this had
Oh.
something to do with hack sign, that old show that was on Toonami when we were Adult Swim when we were
Yeah,
growing
yeah,
up,
yeah.
that like never made any sense because I always caught it in the middle, and it's one of those shows where like the kid played a video game like World of Warcraft and got
Mm-hmm.
stuck in World of Warcraft and couldn't get out, but it like never like really made sense 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this was that, and I was prepared to hate it.
Well, I always called it dot hex sign. I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce the dot or not, but dot hex
Oh,
sign. Now that you mention it, is also one of my favorite PS2 games of all time. I love
what
that
a weird,
series of game. It's a great RPG. It's fucking awesome.
what a weird throwback. So this show starts, and it's very very easy, and you got a guy, a young kid, 16-year-old kid in a grocery store buying some instant noodles, looking flipping through a manga, and he goes outside, and then he blinks, and then he's in a fantasy world. And that's it. It was just like, "You're in."
Yeah.
That was it. And I was like, "What? Dumb. Stupid."
I was on the same page with you. I feel like you immediately are just thrown into this fantasy world. You're like, "What is happening? How did he get here?" And
Mhm.
I will talk a little bit about isekais because I do think it's important. Like you said, it's the genre is basically you go in, you're summoned to another world somehow, and then you experience that world. Usually it's in a fantasy setting. There are a lot of isekais. I think right now the anime market is flooded with isekais, and they're not all good. I tried watching Shield Hero and I didn't like that. I tried watching Sword Art Online and I didn't like that. I feel like
Both very popular.
they're both very popular, but isekai is hard to do. It's easy to do a fish out of water story like that, but it's hard to nail it in a way that you feel like the character's relatable. A lot of times, isekais will have the main character be some kind of loser or a bad person. Then they go into this world and they use that to take advantage of the systems in place in the world, but they don't necessarily grow or change much. And they tell you that they've grown and changed, but they don't actually show you that they've grown or changed. And so that's what I was nervous about going into this because I didn't want to see that happen.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of isekais like that old D&D show's an isekai, isn't it? Like it's like kids get sent to a D&D world,
Yes.
like that old 80s
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
There's so many of
West
them. I feel the same way about them.
Yeah. I feel like Western media has been doing isekais for a long time because we got like Space Jam, we got
Oh,
the
Space Jam.
D&D
Great
show,
great
a
reference.
bunch of like 80s cartoons were kids being isekai'd into some kind of fantasy world or whatever.
Yeah, and then I feel like Japanese media always does that thing where you have a character that's always doesn't know what's going on. It feels like very, very tropey. Like
Mhm.
even from their video games, like Fire Emblem is always almost an isekai, right? Like it's like you're a character that like you don't know how you got there, and the prince says you there. You seem like you have weird tactician powers.
I would say they're not an isekai only because they're not coming from like our world. They're not coming
No,
from
it's
like our
us. It
world.
is. That's what
Really?
I'm saying. Kind of like a lot of those original ones, like the first Game Boy Advance ones that were coming out, you were like not one of the characters. You were like a guy with a hood. Like before you can make characters, like you
Oh,
were like a
you were
guy with a
you
hood,
from the real world?
and it talked to you like you, and you knew, yeah, 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 yeah.
Hmm, interesting.
But yeah, so this one starts off right away, and a very, I don't know what to got Subaru. I don't even know what to say about him. Can you talk about him?
So Subaru is a hikikomori. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry for all the Japanese butchering we're going to be doing. Which means that he's
I
basically
would
a
join you, but my
shut
keyboard
in,
died. My
where
keyboard
he
died.
just kind of like likes to live in his room and not have minimal contact with the outside world.
Mhm.
And so that's like a huge part of Japanese culture. It's not a epidemic, but it is like a problem over there. I think you have a lot of people that Space Jam American Isekai. Yeah, it is a problem over there that you have in society where people just want to be indoors all the time and not have to go anywhere.
Oh, there's a word for it on the Wikipedia. It refers to him as a neat, capital N, capital E, capital E,
Neat is
capital
another
T,
name
which
for it.
means
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I feel like
not
in
in education, employment, or training.
yes. Yes, a
15 to
neat is another
24-year-olds
name for
not
it. But
doing anything.
hikikomori is the is the
Mm.
is the word that
The
ReZero
Japanese.
uses.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Also, Old Man Rom just sent a video to a link about Space Jam being an American isekai, and it's from
And old man Rom, you're this close to getting kicked out of our chat. You cannot
no, no,
promote.
no, he's
You
great.
cannot. No, no, no. You're this close. You're this close. You cannot promote other shows that talk about
I
anime in
I
our show. Guys, go to Mother's Basement. We're fighting. They tried to get in on our stream. Let them know we're fighting. I usually love their content, but now I don't. Now we're fighting.
I
Tweet
was
at
just
them.
gonna
Now try
say,
this cast beef.
shout out to Mother's Basement. I like that guy. It's fun. It's a
Not
good
anymore.
content.
Now we're vying for the same. Now we're vying for the same space. We fighting.
Okay. Um. Okay. So we covered the isekai tropes a little bit, so we're getting into it. Subaru is this hikikomori, and he kind of is in this world, and he immediately knows he's in a fantasy world because he's a nerd, and so he's like,
Immediately.
"Fuck yeah, we're in a fantasy world. Let's go!" But
And it was fun because he literally, like, within the first 5 minutes of the show, was monologuing to himself. He's like, "This is the moment when I am revealed that I will have magic powers and I will be the hero of this world. I just need to concentrate. Magic powers."
yeah,
Oh shit!
yeah,
And
and
he
nothing
doesn't.
happens,
He
and he
doesn't have
realizes
any.
he's not
Yeah.
special. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So then he
And then he
goes in.
realizes he's not special.
He goes into the alley right soon after this, and
Mhm.
he gets jumped by just a bunch of dudes, just three dudes.
Just
uh
3 dudes.
he gets jumped. I don't remember. It's hard to remember because it loops, right? So it's hard to remember all the loops exactly
No, it's
right.
not easy. You're exactly right. This was what happens, and that first time is when Amelia meets him in the alleyway.
Yes, Amelia meets him. He's
So
like,
that's the
ah,
first one.
yes, you came to save me or whatever, and then
And she's like, "No, I'm not. I'm here to chase after someone who's stolen something from me."
yes.
And then she's like, "But I guess I'll help you because you're in my way now."
Hmm. Yeah,
And
and
she does
then
some cool ice magic, and then Subaru faints, and she heals him a little bit. And then the rest of the day goes of him trying to help Amelia find the girl that stole her pendant thing,
mhm,
her crest. And then that leads them all the way to the seedy part of town. And then in the seedy part of town, the whole show changes. The whole show changes because it
mhm.
wasn't until this moment that the show was light. It was like it was too light.
It was
It was
true.
like
I agree. It was true
just the
light.
light parts of anime.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was very tropey, and I feel like that was on purpose.
Now
Uh
we know it
Now we
is.
know it's on purpose, but it was very
At the
tropey,
time,
and it was like, ha ha ha, I'm just cute anime boy. I'm very charismatic. Here I am, save the day. Oh my god, what a beautiful maiden. And it's like, oh my god, like shut the
that's pretty
fuck up.
good. The worst parts of Edward, the worst parts of Deku, the
Yes.
worst parts of and then it was also the worst parts of like anime for a second because it was like,
Oh
is
yeah.
this just fucking Sword Art Online? I hate that show. It's so stupid. Like we're just like it's just these tropes of characters that lack any
Mhm.
substance that are just thrown into a
Yep.
fantasy world that don't focus on world, that don't focus on magic, they don't focus on politics. It's literally just like watching a World of Warcraft like fucking
Yeah.
anime, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is dumb.
Yeah.
And then when they get to that end where they're in that seedy part of town, everything shifts. The
Mhm.
music shifts, the mood shifts, the tone shifts. And it was at this moment, and to steal a term from uh what fucking
Mother's basement?
who are we? Yeah, Mother's Basement. Who we are now fighting. Who I didn't realize until they pointed out in a video. This is the moment you realize that this is kind of a horror anime,
Yes.
and there's
Yes.
like this whole shift, and everything's tense. And I was sitting there like, wait, what the? Whoa! And then he walks in. He sees all the blood. He sees the bodies. Amelia sounds like she's gotten hurt, and then he gets attacked. And then you're like, "What the fuck? What's happening?" And then he starts to do the monologue that you heard at the opening, which you thought was just stupid, like,
Yes.
"Okay, whatever. This is just normal
Yes.
anime bullshit." Monologuing to the
Uh-huh.
ether about the accomplishments you'll make in
Yep.
the world, like, it won't be long until I accomplish blah blah blah. But I was like, no, he was saying the thing, and then there's this cool tidal wave effect, and he's back at the Apple stand. We're in a time loop, baby.
Yep.
I had no fucking idea.
Mhm.
Did you?
Well,
Oh, you watched this before.
I was gonna say what happened in mine is that he died.
Yeah.
Okay, how did he die in the director's cut?
He died. You didn't see how he died. He got like stabbed, like in the dark.
Oh, okay, yes, he goes into OldManRom's shop.
Yeah.
There's a
We
dead
don't. It's
body
just a
already
CD
there,
building. Yeah.
and then he is stabbed in the darkness.
Yeah.
Um,
And then he wakes up at the Apple stand.
and then he wakes up at the Apple stand, which is, and then that's when he realized here is the my little like my little I'm gonna have a problem with something. Uh, he picks up
He
on that.
doesn't know he's
He
in a
picks
time
up
loop.
that he's in a fantasy world so quickly. He's like, "Yeah, let's go. Let's isekai this shit. Fuck yeah, let's go, baby." But
Yeah.
my dude takes so long to figure out that he's
He
in a
takes
fucking
3
time loop.
loops.
He
He
takes
takes
3
3
loops
loops.
to figure out he's in a time loop, but 5 seconds to figure out he's in an isekai. Like, what the fuck was that about?
To be fair, this show is all about tropes, and it is a big trope of time loops that you don't know you're in a time loop until the second or third. Groundhog's Day, Happy Death Day, Palm Springs, just to name a few off the top of my head from recent years.
Yeah,
You don't know at first.
yeah.
You're like, what's going on? This can't be the same day. I must be going crazy. What's
So
happening?
so it's here that we discover that he loops every time he dies, but he experiences all the pain and trauma that comes with death, and that's a huge part of the show too.
What a there's so much to talk about what you just said.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we'll get way more into it as the show goes on. But that's why this show feels like a horror
Yes.
anime because because when you watch Groundhog's Day, when you watch Palm Springs, when you watch Happy Death Day, the dying is almost never a part of it. They die in those things all the
Yeah.
time. Like it's a big part of time loop stories. The death is the resetter, right?
Mhm.
It happens all the time. So sometimes it's sleep, sometimes it's death.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
anytime it's death, the death is never a prevailing theme of even in Happy Death Day, when it's literally a horror movie about
Yes.
a time loop, and she's literally getting brutally murdered every single time.
But
It's
they
always like,
yeah.
man, it really sucks to die. It hurts a lot.
Yeah, they
It's
have
just like
yeah, they even have a
the end of it.
montage in that movie of all the deaths. That's just like, whatever. I died a million times. It doesn't matter. But in this anime, they did the really fucking cool and difficult thing of making all the deaths, even though you know he's gonna come back, feel like they have weight to them,
Yeah.
which is so impressive. And I gotta give kudos to the show for that.
It's wild. We'll get more into it as the specific deaths happen, but every single this every single time you have a time loop story, you take the loops for granted, and this show does not take the loops for granted. It does not
Yeah.
do that, which I've never seen before. Honestly, I've never seen it. When there's a time loops, you're Groundhog's Day, and you repeat the same day 100 times to try to seduce your crush. If it's Happy Death Day, you redo the loop 100 times
Yes.
or in Palm Springs, you redo the loop 200 times to become a master of quantum physics,
Hmm.
right? Like but that's not honestly, it's one of my gripes with the show a little bit. Like I kind of wish
He
like
had
I
more
know it's a trope.
loops.
I know what it's doing, but I kind of wish he did just do 100 loops so he could just be good at swords now. Like I just kind of wish like
It's a
like
little
that
bit
could
of
just
that.
happen.
Like he was looping
A
in
the
the
mansion,
castle,
a
he was
teeny tiny bit.
looping so that way he could learn how to write. That kind of worked out. Um
But still, it was only like 3 or 4 times.
yeah.
There's the crucial moments if he's like, if you could swing a sword, this would be a lot easier.
Yeah, that's true. But you can't have both, right? Like I think that
You're right.
you
You're
can't
right.
have the weight to them if he's just going to die 100 times. And I like
Yeah.
that it
I
has
think
the weight. That's the thing that makes this unique.
I think again the reason I say that is because the middle of this show, which is honestly hard to watch. We can get into it, but it was hard. I was done halfway through.
Okay.
And it won me back, but I was fucking done. I was so upset.
Wow.
But let's go back to the beginning. We're in the loop. We find out we're in a loop. We keep meeting our cast of characters again and again. We're
Mhm.
finding out more about the world. Honestly, it's weird how little they let us know. You can watch a big jumpy. You can watch the show. There's the director's cut on HBO Max. It's also on Crunchyroll. I'm
Mhm.
sure you can find it lots of other places. But the
Wherever you watch
but
anime,
the yeah, wherever you watch anime, you'll find it.
except Funimation.
It's not on Funimation.
It's not a Funimation.
That's so stupid. They both got bought by fucking HBO though,
I
so
saw.
it'll
Yeah,
probably soon
soon
be.
it'll be there.
Yeah, I just need everything on HBO, and then I'm paying one fee, and that would be great. So we meet our cast of characters. We meet Felt. We meet OldManRom. We meet Amelia. We meet Reinhardt. We meet the Apple guy. We meet
Mhm.
the fucking ruffians. And we meet the I forget the name of the dark dark lady, the one with the knives. She's like, oh gosh, what's her name? I don't know because my keyboard isn't
Flint?
working. But
No, wait, what dark lady? Oh, the evil
the one that
lady.
kills them all. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot her name too. Shit.
Well, regardless, you meet our cast of characters, and then we're in a time loop for maybe like 5 episodes of
Yes.
just that opening bit
It's and
of
the process is him going. He wakes up in the Apple store. He goes. He tries to meet Amelia. He tries to save her. He meets the little girl, and he meets
felt.
OldManRom, and so he tries to then go to the store and intercept uh the evil witch lady that's there, and is going to kill all of those people if he
Yeah,
doesn't do something about it.
one thing that all time loop things do that for whatever reason this did not do is when time loop stories do the thing where you're in a time loop. Somehow they become a master at remembering. So when we played Overboard,
Yes.
we know that we keep clicking the same thing and then we have to just click one thing differently. Movies treat time loops like that.
Hmm.
Movies treat time loops as if the person's a master at memorizing. And like, who are they? They're like normal people that are masters of memorizing every little trip and tick of
Yeah.
their voice and how to say it. But the thing that this show captures every fucking time, and you notice it right away, is every time he comes back, he knows what he has to do differently, but he's deeply affected by the one he just did, and he
Yes.
still fucks it up.
Yeah.
He's not perfectly like, wow, I'm going to do the exact same thing all the way up into this one moment, say this one thing
Exactly.
differently,
Yeah.
and do the whole thing. So even though we got time loops, it's so strange because every single time loop was completely different. I've never seen that.
I agree. You're right. That's a good point, because I feel like time loop stories are like bashing your head in a wall until it breaks, right? Like you just keep trying and
Yeah.
trying and trying and trying and trying, and then changing one small thing. Trying, changing one small thing. But this doesn't treat it that way. This is like he doesn't want to repeat the same exact go through, and he learns so much
Yeah.
information every single life, and he never knows which is the life that's gonna stick,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Super crazy. He really does treat everyone like it's gonna stick. He
Yeah.
really doesn't take at no point in this whole first season, which is wild to me. I don't know if it's a pro or a con because honestly, it's just wild to me because you and I would just do this so differently if we were in
Yes,
this time loop.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
But he never once thinks to himself, "Wow, that one didn't go great. Let me kill myself and start over." Not once. Not once, Marcus. How many times would you kill yourself
Oh,
to make sure you get some fresh apples?
I would kill myself so many times just to get it
So
right.
many
I'm
times.
like, okay,
Wow.
cool. That didn't go that way. Die.
I feel like I would even do the thing where I got everything right. I would kill myself just to see if I can make it a little better. And if I
Yes.
can't, then I'll go back. And then he did kill himself once, dash line for two. But like it was like a very
Eve.
specific, epic growth
Yes.
fucking big fucking moment.
But
It was not like,
even
I just feel like redoing it.
yeah, even in Happy Death Day and other time loop things, they will just kill themselves. Like be like, this was
Always.
this was a wash, and shoot themselves in the head or something. You know?
All the time. Yeah. It didn't happen once, which just made everything feel so much more heavy than I thought it would because Subaru is so light and so shitty.
Yes.
it's
Yes.
so it's
They
such a fucking
That's a good point. They didn't have
nobody.
he didn't have any throwaway lives, I think is the best way of putting it. Like he did kill himself,
Yeah,
but he didn't have any throwaway lives. He was like, whatever. This one's wasted.
not
Um,
once.
so Subaru. We can talk about Subaru a little bit. So
We can.
he's kind of like this
We can.
loner.
This is allowed. It's your podcast. We're allowed to do that.
So he just is like this kind of like lonely guy. And I feel like my issue with Subaru is that you're not supposed to like him, but they
Yeah.
don't do a good enough job of making him unlikable. There's a disconnect between his intention and his actions, and there's nothing
Yeah.
letting us know more about his intention. We just see his actions. And it's like, it's just, I wish there was like one more thing, like one more inner monologue or something like that connecting the pieces. Because it's not until like episode 18 that we really get insight into like, okay, he's kind of like an incel. Like you see it, but it's not like
Yeah.
why is he behaving this way? Why is he like acting this way? You just don't see it in the beginning. And I feel like it took for me 18 episodes to get to that point where he's like, ah, I was a loser, I was a shut in, and then explains like what happened and like why he was doing this way, and he like admits that he was like just showboating and that he doesn't actually care about Amelia. You get this like intense argument between the two of them where he's just like, you owe me everything. Like, oh, that moment was crazy. I'm jumping, I'm
You need to
jumping
wait.
far.
Yeah,
I'm
you need
jumping
to
far.
wait. You need to
But
wait.
but
You need to wait.
Subaru, I do want to talk about him later because I feel like there was just this weird disconnect in the beginning that I was
Yeah,
like
I'll
I
talk.
didn't like at all.
Yeah, I think there's more things to say now too because I think it's so strange because there are every time the show did something to make me like Subaru because he does have redeeming qualities.
Mhm.
He is charismatic. He is smart. He is clever. He is brave. It has all these very tropey anime moments where you are on his side, and then something would happen, and you'd be like, "This fucker sucks."
Yes. Yeah, I did not.
And it would happen again and again and again.
Yes. I did not like Subaru until episode 18-ish. Like it was he was annoying. He was an incel fedora wearing douchebag. Like he wasn't he treated all the women like they were just like beneath him, and it just sucked. And it was just like I didn't like him as a character until that.
I don't come down at him quite as hard as you do.
Mhm.
I completely understand your viewpoint. But for me, I think whilst I don't disagree with you about what you think of him, I do think that the show is I think the show is doing it very, very specific. Thank you so much, Drumbum914 for subscribing with your Prime. Guys, you can subscribe with
Woo!
Prime on Twitch.
Subscriber
Uh
grind, baby.
I think I don't know, if to me, it felt kind of authentic. Which wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant to watch him
Mhm.
at a lot of these moments when he's giving us these features of incelness and of sexism and all these, like, things.
Yeah.
However, there was this sense for me, this sense of, like, of refreshment because I've never experienced a protagonist being so normal. Like, he
Mhm.
was so normal for a lot of this show,
Yeah.
and whilst I think it does goes too far, that makes him, like, unlikable, and then I think it does go almost too far sometimes the other direction, and he's, like, just an Edward or an Alphonse or a
Yes.
Deku, and he's just like, "When all of a moment are you standing on top of a whale, and you're the most brave motherfucker in this whole fucking land? Like, I don't understand." But somewhere in that middle, there are these shining moments when I think the mansion arc
Mhm.
really encapsulated for me. I really loved the mansion arc, and by looking a little bit, I feel like other people thought it was slower, but it
Yeah.
was actually my favorite.
Yeah.
Where in a normal like interactions when he's like just for an example, when he told that ogre story
Mhm.
to Rem and Ram, it just felt so authentic. Like, he wasn't trying to make a parable, but he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to, like, connect extra as a human being, but he, like, was. Like, unintentionally. Like, those unintentional every time he intentionally wanted to be a hero, he fucking sucked. Every time he intentionally wanted to do it, he sucked. But there were these unintentional moments in there that just felt very human to
You're
me,
so funny because
that I liked.
I feel like that is exactly what the writer was going for. Like,
Oh
and you just ate it up, you know? And that's yeah, because later on when like everyone's admitting how much they love him and they want to be with him and blah, 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 like it's those moments that they cite that are
Yeah,
just
that's
his
true.
genuine self. So the writer knew what he was doing. I still hated him for a while. And you're right, like
Yeah,
he's not a
and I
bad
get it.
person, right? Like I don't think the show
No.
is trying to paint him as
No,
a
no, no.
bad person. I think they're trying to paint him as like a lonely person who doesn't understand how like the world works, but especially women.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think somehow deep seated in the show, very unexpectedly, is this huge commentary about like what love and affection is, right? and, like, what
Yes.
that means,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't and it's, like, not on the surface as much,
Mhm.
I don't think but it, like, really says something about, like, where you put your affection, what love means, and, like, where it comes from, and, we'll get more into it later as we get through a little more of the plot, but, honestly, those are the moments that I really, really loved the show. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, because love in anime, we've talked about it before.
Oh, yeah.
There's, like, all the romance dialed up to 11 or like 0. Like,
100%.
all, like, subtext, right?
Mhm.
And it's like,
Even,
fucking
like,
even, like
Fullmetal
go ahead.
Alchemist, right? Where it's like
That's what I
those
was
2
gonna say,
characters
Winry and
love
Out
each
Edward.
other. They didn't kiss or anything really, like,
They never say it.
they get married at the end and you see that they're happy, right? Like, if I'm remembering correctly? I don't remember.
I think there might be a moment where they're, like, there, but I don't even know if they gave us married.
I don't
I
remember
don't even
the
remember
ending
that.
of Fullmetal Alchemist, but
Which one?
they're together at the end of it, but,
Yeah.
even then, it's like you're not getting the romance, you're not getting what you want. You wanna see people falling in love sometimes, and
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
people
anime doesn't
consider
do
that,
that.
like, goals. People
Yeah.
consider that, like, couple goals, Edward and Winry.
Mhm.
And this show's doing something special with that. So let's go back a little bit, back to the plot of the first arc just a little bit, just so we can say a couple highlights of it. Because I think there are some great moments, I think. I think him getting his relationship with Amelia again and again and again. This show, it's interesting because by watching that same loop again and again, we and Subaru find out all this information about our characters that we usually don't. Like, you usually get in anime it's almost like a trope that you don't get a lot of characters sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Because the plot and the combat and the fucking all the tropes of bigness are
Yes.
happening so often that the character moments are scarce.
Honestly, in
What the fuck
shonen
does scarce mean?
in shonen, the format
Yeah,
is you have build up to a fight, and the fight is the point in which the character experiences growth. They
yeah,
grow to not overcome their own blockages and their own like personality flaws or whatever they're trying to
yeah,
overcome, but then they overcome the villain by becoming stronger. And this show does that a little bit, but it's not about the
yeah.
fights. It's not about the action scenes. It's about the whole show is about the growth.
Yeah, and you see it in all these moments where you have to meet Amelia again
Hmm.
and again and again and see how because the first time you see her talking, she says she saves him to gain something. And then she says that again though the next time for something else, and then you start to realize, wait. And then she says it again, and then you're like, no, that's not real. I don't know
Yeah,
why she say. Oh, she's putting on this tough facade, and you only get that because of the loop, because you're
yeah,
seeing it from different perspectives
yeah,
again and again and again, and that's true for all the characters in the whole show, honestly.
yeah. I think what the writer was going for a lot of times too with Subaru is that like he was going for the fact that Subaru I- is a nice person, but says he's one of those guys that tells you they're a nice guy. Like I'm a nice guy, and like
Yeah,
everything they do and say is to sort of promote that nice guy
narrative.
facade and narrative that they're trying
Yeah.
to portray, but he is not actually a good person. And I think that is his journey in this series.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's actually really nice way to put it. I think, that nice guy thing is it's so funny because, like, I think by the end of the show, like, he's, like, learning what that actually means, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And, and then also, I think it's hard not to mention, because I was really surprised as this show was going on, there's a pro and a con, I think, to the animation. The animation is very good sometimes, and when it's really good. But because it's so good there's a lot of CGI background work
Mhm.
and a lot of, like, less than ideal moments like that. But now after seeing the show, I realize they did that so they can save their money for the big battles, for these big
Yeah.
emotional moments. And I think it pays off. I don't mind seeing a CGI guy going like this to the back
Yeah, that's
while they're
fine
just
with
walking
me.
through the street. Like,
As
it's
long as the
whatever.
rest
But
of the
I
show
thought
looks good.
I didn't think it would be. But then when we got that, like, third or fourth loop
Mhm.
of the Old Man Roms and get that epic last fight.
Yeah.
It was a good fucking
It was
fight.
a good fight. It
I
went
was
on
surprised.
for a while too, and
Yeah.
it does a good job of showing you how weak our protagonist is. Like Subaru
Yeah.
is not good at anything. And normally, here's a big isekai thing. Oh, huge, biggest problem I have with isekais
Mhm.
is the protagonist shows up to the world and they are immediately the best thing ever. They are like, oh no, I have a shield. Oh, that's so weak. Oh, how am I gonna do anything with the shield? And then it ends up being the most fucking overpowered weapon. Like just every
The
fucking
chosen one thing.
they're the chosen one. They're super powerful. Whatever. It's bullshit. And I hate that. Like, give me isekais where the protagonist is a regular person and having to figure it out. And that's what this is. I like that a lot. That's a huge plus for me.
Is the Matrix kind of an isekai?
The Matrix, I would
Fr-
say,
From one word into a fantasy world,
but
kind
they're
of.
not a
I don't
fantasy
know.
world. I think the whole
They're the
thing is you
real
find
world.
out, they're in the real world.
It's a reverse
It's
isekai.
a reverse isekai is Hercules in New York. That's a reverse isekai. Hercules from the fantasy world shows up in New York
Oh.
and is like, I'm living in the regular world. What is this place?
So like Enchanted is a
Enchanted
reverse
is a
isekai.
reverse isekai. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Well, speaking
All
of
right.
isekais, Nick,
Oh god.
we've
No,
got
no,
a
no, no, no. Let's go back.
game
No,
based
we
on
let's go to the second arc.
isekais.
We gotta get to the second
Let's
arc.
go.
Now try this trivia. Now try this trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia this.
And we're back. I was singing the theme song to time it.
He
Okay,
does it every time.
Nick, Liar Isekaier is the name of the game.
You're gonna have to say that 2 more times at least.
Liar Isekaier. Shout out to Dash 9442 mod in the chat for making the game. Question number 1.
Marcus, what's the game?
We'll
Keep
see
doing this.
when we
Tell me what the...
we'll see when we read it.
It's not, that's not how games work. You gotta tell
Okay.
me what are
You
the
couldn't guess
rules?
from the
What's
title.
happening?
Okay. Here's the rules. You and I are playing together.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And we're gonna read a description of an isekai and determine whether it was made up or if it was real.
Are these just Japanese or can these be anything?
It could be anything.
Oh shit.
Okay, you
If
ready?
the Matrix is on here, I'm gonna feel super validated.
Okay. A high school teen gets in an accident and dies, only to be reincarnated as a sentient natural hot spring. Off to a great start. Sentient natural hot spring with miraculous healing of capabilities, where he is
What?
frequented by 3 beautiful women who use his liquefied form for their health.
This almost sounds like Spirited Away.
I want to say that this is true.
That's so specific. Hold on. So the
Uh,
yes in the chat, you can
yes.
play. We're
In
not
the
gonna look
chat,
at the
if
chat
you want
anymore.
to
We're gonna
play,
stop looking.
you can play. But
Well,
I
we're
would
gonna stop
say
looking.
don't
So
Google
don't.
it. As long as you don't Google it, you're fine.
Yeah, but now we can't respond to you anymore because I closed the chat. So go wild. Marcus, I don't. Gosh. So is it 2 points? Like, are we guessing if it's true and then guessing what it is?
Yes. I think so.
Um, I think you're right, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll say it's real.
I
We'll
think
say
it's
it's real.
real. It seems
That's so
too
clever.
too
That's so
anime-y to
clever.
be real.
That's so clever. If this isn't if hold on though. If this isn't real, Dash 944 needs to quit their job immediately and start pitching that fucking Crunchyroll because that's
That's great.
that
I'd watch
that's
that
10
one.
times better than your fucking
Yeah.
horse girl fucking anime you
Yeah.
watch.
And you know how anime has like long titles now, and it's like, oh, would you like find a girlfriend in a dungeon, or like how I got reincarnated as slime? It's
Yeah.
I think this would be like how I live my life as a hot spring, or some
Hot
shit like
springs
that.
for hot girls.
Nice. Okay.
Is it real?
Yes, it is real. It's called I was
Nice.
reincarnated as a hot spring in an alternate world, and I'm way too effective.
How did you nail that so much? You've heard of this.
No, I
You
haven't.
had to have heard of this.
I haven't
You're
heard of this.
you're
I
you're
haven't
a
heard of
cheater and a liar, guys. The liar
this.
isekaier is Marcus. You heard it here.
Okay,
Let
it
him
looks like
know. Let him
Drum
up in the
Bum
chat.
got that right in the chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Big Jumpy failed like a fucking loser. Nice
No,
job.
no, come on, leave him alone.
One of us have to be the bad one. I'll
No,
be the bad one.
he's cool. Okay. A young man falls into a secret portal that brings him to a world where everyone can shapeshift at will and finds himself saddled with a baby who is not quite sure what species they are. He must care for the baby and find the creature's mother in a world where no one is who they seem to be, while also finding his own sense of responsibility.
Hold on, Marcus. I don't know if this is what it is, but hold on. Is this? Hold on. Is this? Hold on. Is this that show that was on Fox Kids TV
Wait, which show?
that was live action?
What show are you talking about? Land
There
of the
was a
Lost?
show that's no. It was on for like one season, and it was fucking. Oh my god, I remember it sort of vaguely. It had really bad costume and makeup, like a la Power Rangers. It was like that, like Beetleborgs level of like
Yeah.
production. But it was this whole fantasy world, and this kid made friends with these other people that shapeshift, and then the big bad villain shapeshift. And all I remember is one scene where the baby, I think, turned into like a grassy knoll.
Let's do it. Let's say true, because if you're having this fucking like flashback, we need to run with it.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do
what
it.
I say. Yes.
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, we're saying true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's fake.
Hold on, no, it's not. Because what I'm saying is it happened, and I think you fucking nailed. I gotta find. My keyboard doesn't work, Marcus. I can't look it
She
up.
did such a good job faking it that it's a real one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
She called it "Fatherhood is a Bitch." I'm not gonna do the guessing on the titles because if it's real, the title's just there.
Hold on.
Okay.
How would I even do this? Fox Kid TV shows. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
I'm listening. I swear.
Big Jumpy got it right in the chat. Okay, next one. A young man wins the right to be transported to a video game, but finds out too late that his overbearing mother must come with him. He is surprised to find her skill far outmatches his own, as the two must learn to bond in order to advance through the game. That sounds real. That's 100% real. I believe that shit's real. That sounds so real. I would
That
watch
does-
the shit out of that.
That. Yeah, no, that sounds real to me.
Okay, you ready? You want to go?
Yeah.
Do you love your mom and her 2-hit multi-target attacks? I did see this on Crunchyroll. That's so fucking awesome. A light
Okay, hold
novel
on.
series and anime that premiered on Crunchyroll in 2019.
Hold on. We need our point back because I think I found the show.
What's the show?
No, it's not this.
Oh
Is
my
it?
god. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. When a
Yeah,
famous
keep going.
when a
Ignore
famous-
ignore my derailing of our great
Yes.
episode.
when a famous athlete is chosen as a sacrifice and transported to a foreign world, he must teach the residents of the strange place skills they lack to battle for their lives and relearn everything he knows without the rules of his own reality, in order to return to his family with his honor intact.
Darren is a really good writer, but I see straight through your bullshit. This is Space Jam, dude.
Space Jam. It's definitely Space Jam. Also, Drum
It's
Bump says
100%
Planet
Space Jam.
Hulk. Kind of Planet Hulk, too.
Oh, it does look like Planet Hulk.
Okay. And yes, it is Space Jam. Good job. That was awesome.
Do the Space Jam. Fun fact: Space Jam was the first and only cassette I ever owned. The soundtrack.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just
Okay.
to date myself.
When a young boy dies in an accident with a wild horse, he is reincarnated as a stallion in a medieval palace, where the princess likes to take him for rides every day and treat him as a silent confidant. But he must decide what to do when her tyrant father is ready to burn down a neighboring village. This
Marcus?
sounds fake.
Oh, Marcus, this sounds like a Wishbone episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And because of that, I think it might be real.
Drumbum is turning off his Mets game to join our chat. Thank you, Drumbum. I'm glad we're more important to you than the Mets. Okay.
Good job. Are you sure it's fake? I don't know. That sounds like
I think it's
real.
fake.
Horses, though, dude. There's so
I
many
also
fucking horse
just clicked on
shows.
the answer, so now I definitely know what the answer is. What do you think? Fake
Okay,
or real?
we can go with fake.
It's fake. And she called it a war horse in peril.
A war horse in Paris.
That's
That's
a good name.
funny.
Good name.
Funny.
Good job making it up. A lazy young man with no drive to continue his education suddenly wakes up in a Middle Ages village where everyone seems to believe he is the only doctor. The beautiful girl who works with him insists he is her master and vows herself to secrecy regarding his lack of knowledge, but he wrestles with the morality of trying to help people when you may be making things worse.
Here's the thing that I'm learning about isekais. No matter what the premise is, as long as it's an isekai, I buy it. I buy all these. I've heard of all these before. I've seen this show. I've seen all of these shows before. I've seen all these movies. I've seen these shows. They all exist in my mind. Like
Okay.
that horse one you just described as fake. The other one, I attached a memory of my childhood to it. I stopped looking because I know it's bad content for me to just Google on the fucking podcast. But honestly, I'm going fucking crazy because I remember that show.
This game is driving you crazy.
Ah,
Guys, if you're enjoying this content, remember to subscribe.
get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
I think this is real. Sounds true.
I'm
Doctor?
going to say it sounds true because of the woman, like I didn't believe the doctor thing, but the woman like seeing him as her master is so typical isekai. In all isekais, the main character is the most powerful, and he usually has a woman throwing herself at him. So I'm gonna say true because of that detail.
I'm gonna say it's true as well, and I think the name of it is Doogie How to Survive Medieval Times.
Nice. Oh, it's fake.
Oh,
Good job.
What
It's
was their
called
title?
Catch Me If You Can BC.
that's pretty good. Nice reference. I love that movie.
Okay. A man who is obsessed with vending machines is crushed by one. He's
What do you mean obsessed?
I don't know. He's reincarnated as a vending machine in a fantasy world. He wants to explore his new reality, but he's unable to move or talk because he's a vending machine. He meets a young woman who agrees to carry him on his back as she explores the countryside. I guess she's carrying him on her back.
I'm gonna say this is fake only because of Japanese. It would only be Japanese if this existed, and
Which
Japanese
is true.
animation, right, takes themselves very seriously, and that synopsis made fun of itself a little bit.
But it could be a light novel.
Fuck you. It's fake.
Okay.
I think it's fake, and I think it's new adventure for $2.99 question mark.
It is real and it's called Reborn
What?
as a Vending Machine. I Now Wander the Dungeon, a light novel series that exists in the real world.
Hold on, I need to fix my fucking keyboard because I can't Google any of these things.
Why are you Googling? No, it's better content to not Google. Just continue. We have to get back to talking about it.
I just want to see a picture.
Okay.
Can I be honest? I think my keyboard broke, dude.
Oh, that sucks ass. You're not going to be able to stop.
Stop what?
Is it Bluetooth or is it plugged in?
It's plugged in.
Okay, I'm moving on. While her body is in a comatose-like state, a young girl's consciousness gets transported to an alternate realm populated by talking animals and beings with mystical powers, where she engages in the local politics and must help three strange men find the one thing they're missing before she can wake up and return home. This sounds not real, but maybe it is real. Is it three men and a baby, but with memory loss?
I mean, that sounds like every fucking isekai. I don't fucking know. The vending machine one was real, dude.
Guys, if you're listening, thank you so much. But also, head over to our Patreon. That's where the challenge came from. And Nick apparently needs a new keyboard. So help us out.
Can you see my distraught face?
He's
as I'm like,
struggling so hard right now on the podcast.
I plugged it into a
Panicking.
different. I did it, and I plugged it into a different plug. It's not working, but the lights are still coming on. I think it's real.
Big Jumpy says turn on the on-screen keyboard.
Oh shit! What's that?
Pro tip.
You mean do I have to go type into my search bar on-screen keyboard to find it? Because I don't have a keyboard.
OldManRom is typing in Russian? What is happening? Okay. While her body is in a comatose-like state, a young girl's consciousness gets transported to an alternate realm populated by talk. Oh, we didn't even do the other one. Was it real or not? I got distracted by your keyboard woes.
Which one?
The three women. No, we. Oh, I was reading this one again. Okay.
You're reading that one again, yeah.
Yes. She engages with local politics and must help three strange men find the one thing they're missing before she can wake up and return home. Is it real or not?
I think so. It sounds real to me.
This is the Wizard of Oz. I didn't click anything yet, but it just hit me. While her body is in a comatose-like state, a young girl's consciousness gets transported to an alternate realm populated by talking animals and beings with mystical powers. This is Wizard of Oz.
That sounds right. Sounds super right.
Yep, Wizard of Oz. OldManRom
Nice.
got it.
Oh.
Big brain over here. Okay. A wrestler is summoned to another world by a princess to fight dangerous beasts. An avid animal lover, he takes offense and suplexes the princess instead and runs away to open a pet shop in the world he's found himself in.
Oh my god. I hope I uh I hope it's real. And if it is real, I would say the name of it is like Ride the Turnbuckle to My Heart or something.
It's
What do you
probably
think?
called I Love Animals, So I Suplex the Princess is probably
Wow, you're right.
what
that's
it's called.
that's you watch too many animes, dude. Okay, I found the on-screen keyboard.
You did? Wow, I'm proud of you. This is
All right.
now.
So,
You know what? Don't subscribe to the Patreon. We don't need it anymore. Nick's good with his on-screen keyboard.
all right, anime vending.
Why are you
machine
still
show.
on that one?
Because that's what I want to see. The picture of a girl carrying a
Oh
vending
my
machine on her
God.
back all the way across the fucking Reborn as a vending machine. Oh, I wander the.
Yep, that's
Wow,
it.
this is kind of badass. All right,
Now
I'm
I
kind of
want to
into
see
this.
it.
It looks pretty great.
Oh my God. Okay.
And for our podcast listeners, don't worry. I know this is mainly audio. The vending machine is red. I got you guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay,
Okay,
Nick,
what's
this wrestling one.
Yeah, I think it's real. What do you think?
I think it's real too.
I feel like Japan's obsessed with wrestling.
I think yeah, that sounds right. It could not
What do you
be. I
think?
don't know if they're obsessed. Yeah, actually, they do. They do have a lot of wrestling over there. You're right.
They do. they
Okay,
do.
let's go with real.
What do you think?
It
What
is real. A 2019 anime called Kemono Michi Rise Up.
Cool. Spell that really slow because I'm typing it on my screen. K.
Kemono.
Sorry, I made a mistake. K.
Oh my God, I'm gonna fight you so hard. I'm gonna destroy you, Nick.
Oh, Kimono Jihan.
I'm gonna eviscerate your whole existence.
Is that it? Kimono
You're
Jihan?
killing me.
Is that it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, the
Ki-
dude.
no.
It looks like he looks like Little Mac. He doesn't look like a wrestler. Not what I was expecting. He's like tiny.
Do you guys see this on the screen? Do you
That
see-
is very helpful, Marcus. That's what I want.
This is what you want?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay, good.
Reborn as a vending machine.
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it has like googly eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm ready for the next question now. Thank you so much.
That was the last question.
Oh.
We did it. I think we won the game. We got that
Did
mostly
we-
right. I declare that we've won the game. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Nice.
I
Nice,
do like
nice,
the eyes
nice.
on the vending machine. It's a good touch.
That's very good. It looks like
That's good.
Mario's hat.
It does. Okay. Okay, back to the anime. We're done with games. We're here to talk about real shit.
Like
Speaking
what?
of
What
games,
kind of real shit?
speaking of games, ReZero, there's a like checkpoint sound that is played every time that he makes an emotional checkpoint or an actual checkpoint. Anytime he reaches a checkpoint, there's a noise
Oh,
that's played, which I thought was really cool.
I didn't hear. I didn't catch that.
You didn't catch that?
No, you're just smarter than me, Marcus. Stop
Wow.
showing off.
Sorry. I didn't mean to brag about my big brain, but it's
So
huge.
after the first after the first arc of him finally surviving that evil lady
Hmm.
and he saved the day, he does this really cute thing where Amelia's like, "How can I ever repay you?" And he's like, "You, the thing that I want is your name."
Which I feel
It-
like is so dumb. And it made me angry.
It's exactly what that person would say though.
It was that nice
After
guy thing that I was telling you about earlier, where it's like I feel like I like if he was being true to himself, he would have been like, "Show me your tits" or something. You know what I mean? Because like that's
yeah,
kind of who he was.
100%.
Um,
And
but he,
a real nice person would have said that. A
wait,
real
what?
nice person would, a person that's actually nice would have said, "Oh, just your name,"
Yes,
something
yes,
like that.
yes. Sorry, I thought you
But the
meant a
way
real
he
nice
said
person
it,
would have said,
and with
"Show
the
me your
intent,
tits." I was like, "What?"
no, but a really really nice person would have been like,
What
"Yo,"
that booty do, girl?
it's like that movie. It's that movie with Eggsy, The Kingsman, where she's
Mm.
like, "If you save the world, I'll let you put it in the butt." Very true to life. Very
Okay.
true to life.
Okay. So
And then we
continue.
end
Sorry.
up and we wake up at the mansion, and then it sets up that whole arc where we're at Amelia's mansion, and we meet the lord of the mansion, and the librarian, and the maids, and we
Mhm.
get a whole like 6 7 episode arc at the mansion.
Yes. You meet Rem and Rom. Rem
Mhm.
I knew because I'm a weeb and I exist in the weeb world. I
I
feel
have
like
seen
I've
them.
seen
I have
Rem
seen Rem and Rom everywhere.
everywhere. Rem is
Everywhere.
like top tier waifu for a lot of fans who watch this show.
Rem is best girl to most
Yes.
people.
Yep.
And now you can add one more person on that list of things.
Is it you? You like Rem?
Listen, I'm not saying I like Rem, but if a patron or somebody bought me a Rem statue, it would be added to my shelf behind me immediately.
Honestly, I would have a Rem statue. She's
I
pretty
would
great.
in a heartbeat. I
But
would in a heartbeat.
here's my problem with Rem, and I feel like I don't know. We've been talking for over an hour. Maybe we can jump around a little bit more. Um,
Sure.
but I think that I like her character progression. But I think that later on, when we jump to the point where she does love Subaru,
Hmm.
I think that it didn't feel like enough. It felt like they were doing that thing that I don't like about isekais where like there's always one woman who's just throwing herself at the feet of the protagonist because they're so awesome and cool and great, you know? And I get that that's not the reason why she was doing it, but the writing felt like it was unearned.
I Before I comment on what I think about Rem, you can buy a statue of Rem that is wearing Subaru's jacket,
Oh my gosh.
and it's very it's very cute.
Is that the one you
I
want?
just wanted that. Uh, Honestly, I would take any of these.
Okay.
She is in a bikini in the one right underneath, so it's kind of like
A toss up.
6 of one, half dozen of another. But
Okay.
I don't know. I think so you meet Rem and Ram, and they're these Rem and Ram, and they're the two maids. They're twins. One is better than the other, and there's this whole like in this arc. There's this whole long storyline about the two of them, and it does it really smart because it starts off that they're very stereotypical maids. They're very stereotypical, just pretty girls in the background in an anime. All the tropes, they're sexualized for no reason. You don't know what's going on, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. but like bit by bit by bit, because we're in this time loop thing,
Mhm.
he keeps doing things to make all their guards go down in different ways. So
Yes.
by the end of that arc, you like know so much about them, and they're such interesting characters. Like they're not like it doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything. They're like these two demon girl twins, and when a twin is a demons are born as twins, each of them take a horn, so they're like
Mhm.
power divided. And the other sister was better, but she lost her horn protecting the one, so she feels like she needs to make up
Yes.
for being the better one. And it's this honestly, I really, really enjoyed the story. I will say that I honestly really bought the nature of Rem's feelings by the end, because I think it easily could have happened that Ram was the one that got obsessed with Subaru if he took the right path, but
Yeah.
the last path before that arc ended had just a lot to do with Rem and saving Rem and Rem saving him. I think the reason that I buy it is because they're not like people. They're not like normal people. They're like demons. They are she is so emotionally stunted. Like she has never gotten affection at all. Like I don't know if I'm not saying it's healthy, but I'm saying I
Mhm.
buy it because she has never gotten affection from anybody besides her sister, which is also mixed in with like this weird pity thing. So it's not even real from her. And Subaru, even though he's this kind of an asshole, he's never like insincere about like those small moments,
Yeah.
which is why like Rem falls for him. So like in those little moments when he's like taking care of her and like being nicer and saying things like you're your own person, it has nothing to do with Ram. Like this is the first she's ever heard it in her life. And as far as animes go, like hearing that was enough justification for me. Like I bought that she was in love. And like I also really liked it because it implied she was in love. Then she kind of said she was in love. Then she said she was in love. Then she really said she was in love, and it had to do with the time loops because because the way Subaru was redoing the time loops, the stakes kept getting
Yeah,
bigger
yeah,
and
yeah.
bigger and bigger. So it did this cool thing where you could see how much she would reveal with these stakes, how much she would reveal with these stakes, how much with this, and how much with
Mhm.
this. And I don't know. It was just I've never really seen that before. I don't know. I bought it. I bought it. I like Rem.
Yeah.
Rem's
I,
best girl.
I I would say that I like Rem, but I think that I just don't like the groveling. I just don't like that she's like, oh, all over for him. And I do believe that
Sure.
she loves him as someone also with the tragic backstory. I feel like I feel like I get the like the first person being nice to
Wow,
you,
that
you're
got
gonna like
deep.
fall
You're
in love
totally
with
yeah,
them.
uh-huh,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like I can
Yes,
relate to
you
that for
get it.
sure. But at
You
the
get
same
it.
time, it's like one, it's not healthy, but two, it's also like it just seemed like too much. Like I get
Yeah.
it and I relate to it, but maybe if they scaled it back a little bit, I would have appreciated it a bit more. Because I mean, how
Uh,
much
uh,
time has passed, right? Like even from his perspective, I get him loving Amelia more than Amelia loves him. I get that because he's gone through so many loops and done so many things for her. But it's been like a couple of. It feel like it's been like a couple weeks.
do you never fall in love with someone else a couple of weeks, dude? Come on. I know you have. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And you know what? One reason why I think I buy it is because of that one moment, which I thought was honestly one of the best moments of the show for me. Because it
Mhm.
just, I don't know. I know I'm a sucker for it, but anytime an anime that's so big and grandiose and epic and shonen like takes a moment to do something like this, I just appreciate it so much. The moment when Rem revealed that she loved him, but in such a subtle way because Subaru has said after he's given up one too many times in one of these loops, he said, "Let's just run away." And he wasn't implying anything with it. He was just like, "I need to get away. You're here. It would
Yeah.
benefit me to have you with me because you're strong." And then Rem started to tell her dream. She very sincerely started to say her dream of what they would be like together. like in the future, and it was
Uh-huh.
so sweet, and she started to cry and talk about how they could be like an old couple with like little inside jokes, and everyone would say, look there, they look still so in love even they're old, and we would have a baby and this and that, and it's because I love you, Subaru, but we can't do that because we have other responsibilities. And it was like so sincere that I was like, I buy
Did you
this story.
cry?
I'm done.
Did you cry?
I would have cried if I didn't have to watch 25 episodes in like 3 days.
I I was at
If I
work.
wasn't on hour 4 of watching that
Yeah,
anime
yeah, yeah.
that night, I would have cried. Yes,
So I feel like because of our lives, a little peek behind the veil, we're very busy. Also, just like work and our regular life is very busy. So like
this is the
watching a whole
toughest time.
season was a lot. I ended up having to like have it on at work while I was like trying to work. And I was
Incriminating yourself.
during this episode, I was sitting at my desk in my cubicle, tearing up, holding back tears.
So you bought it too.
I did buy it, but just like there was still just the fact like I liked what she
It's
was
it's the
saying
groveling.
and it was written really well, but I don't think that just because that moment was written well, I don't think that it was perfect. You know what I mean? I'm still critical of it,
Sure,
but I did like it
sure.
too.
I can hear that. I disagree. You're fucking wrong,
Oh
but
my
you can
god.
have so in the mansion you also meet Beatrice, who's really cool. She's this little like magic user who says blah blah blah, I suppose. It's very cute.
It's so
She seems
annoying.
like
It's
she
no,
knows
fuck you, no,
what's
Nick.
going.
You're wrong. Sorry, you said I was wrong about the other thing. You're wrong. Her saying "I suppose" after every fucking sentence was so annoying. It almost broke me. I was like, I'm gonna have to tell Old Man Rom I can't watch the show because this little girl keeps saying "I suppose" after every sentence. It was killing me. Killing me, Nick.
Oh yeah, Old Man Rom did point out. Hello to Noah in the chat, by the way. Old Man Rom pointed out there was a month when they were supposed to go on that
Yes.
date. There was a month there, so it wasn't a couple days. It was like a month and a half. But also, there is a statue with Rem with angel rings. That's very cute.
Oh
But
my
also,
god.
to your point, I agreed with you about Beatrice's. I suppose I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's fun. And then by the third or fourth time she said, I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking over it. I'm fucking.
Mhm.
This is so dumb.
Mhm. Mhm.
But like most things for me, Marcus, it looped back the other way. And by the end, I was
No.
by the time she was revealing like it seemed like she knew more about what was going on than she was letting on. I suppose that like last time I was like, yeah, Beatrice, you're fucking cool. What's going on with you? I want to get where's your tragic
I would
backstory?
like her more if she didn't say "I suppose" all the time. That's
So
my
you're
stance.
so you're somebody who watches the redubbing of Naruto without the I believe. I believe it.
Yes. I would watch someone edit out all the "I believe it's" of Naruto. That would
Or
be
believe it,
perfect.
yeah. And then we also during that arc there's only like one or two more things to say about the arc because it's really nice and the way it ends up. I think it's a clever way it ends up wrapping up because sometimes it's Rem kills him, sometimes it's Ram. But then you find out the really real reason he's dying is because these demons are getting in and they all fight the demons, and
Yes.
it
Yeah,
doesn't do
yeah, yeah.
anything for the plot. It's really weird because this is my favorite arc. It doesn't do anything for the plot, not really,
But it does a lot
because
for the
but it's
characters.
all character.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all character,
Yeah.
and I think there's just the little moments of like for example Subaru when he first does the loop he's like, as for payment you can let me work here, and he fucking sucks at it, and then he loops again, he's like, as for payment I'll fucking work here, and he's like a little better at it, and then he wises up and he's like, fuck this, and he's like, for payment you can let me live here for free,
So,
and then
yeah.
that time Rem kills him because he's suspicious.
Yeah.
And then he has to go back. He's like, first, I will work here. And then he's like getting better at it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
all those like little things of like now he can cut an apple. Like all those little things are what like
Mhm.
really makes the show shine for
Yes.
me. Like the fighting's cool, the characters are interesting, the dialogue's pretty good. But it's those moments of why I love time travel. It's why About Time is one of my favorite movies.
I also think that speaking of his personality and his characteristics, I think that he's improving at a realistic rate, right? Like he's not
Yes.
all of a sudden the best or he's not all of a sudden a good person. It
Yeah.
takes a long time. You know, it's like 2 more arcs after this. It takes the entire first season for him to even get to a point where I'm like, okay, he's changing. for the
Yeah.
better.
Agreed. Which is one of the best parts, I think. It's
Yeah.
really what makes this show stand out.
Mhm.
Is like real and different. And then after that arc, we get a little plot and we find out that Amelia is one of 5 princesses basically who can become ruler of the land. And you get when Subaru breaks into the ceremony and you get the argument and you get this part.
This is
And
the
I
this is where I started liking the anime. Like
What?
I hated it. I hated it. I was like, this is I am not enjoying it. There are parts like we talked about. There are parts that I enjoyed about it.
Uh-huh.
But I was waiting for I was waiting to care. Like this whole time I just didn't care. I was like, I don't care. I don't care about Rem. I don't care about Rom. I don't care about anybody. I don't care.
Wow. Cold
And
heart.
when the 5 princesses thing came, I was like, okay, we're playing political games now. Interesting. And then like, this part also was really important because I feel like Subaru's true nature starts to come out, and he like is no longer. He's been here for a little while. He's a little bit more comfortable, and his like him being a piece of shit is like starts to have consequences, which was my problem before, where it was like it didn't really have consequences to anybody that he was a piece of shit, you know?
I disagree
Oh my
so much
God.
because I was in the show, right? I was like, I'm here for these little moments. I just said the mansion arc was my favorite one, and I'm pretty sure most people disagree with that. When this happened and that argument happened for the next like 4 episodes, dealing with the strife of the politics were cool. I was also excited about
Yeah,
the politics. All the other
yeah,
like 4 candidates were super interesting.
yeah.
You find out one of them is Felt, the
Yes.
the the orphan from earlier. Super interesting. That was all cool. You get to meet more knights. You get to meet more world. I love world building. But when they had Subaru lean in so much to
Hmm.
be the fucking bastard you thought he was, and and this show does something really weird that I've never seen a show do. It let him languish in that for episodes. He
Yes.
was an asshole for episodes.
I
He
loved it.
was an idiot, but I hated it. I hated watching it. This was the moment when I was like, I fucking hate this show. If this is what the show is, I'm fucking done. I'm gonna fucking destroy the Patreon. I'm gonna blow up the podcast. I'm gonna find out where our patron lives, and I'm gonna fucking yell at him for ruining my life, making me watch the middle of the show because when moments like this happen, I just get this like
But
feeling in
that's the
my
point.
gut.
That's the
I
point. You
hate
get a
it.
pit in your stomach.
I hate it.
It's
I hate the pit of my.
real. I loved it.
No.
I loved this moment
Escapism,
so
Marcus.
much.
Escapism. I'm here
I
for escapism.
I was like, this is fantastic, finally, because there was a
Oh,
disconnect for me. Before this, I didn't give a shit because there was
yeah.
just, he was being fake. He was being fake as fuck this whole time. And this is Subaru. Subaru is like a piece of shit, and he thinks that, like, Amelia owes him something,
Owes him.
and he does
Yeah.
nice things so she can owe him. And that's not why you do nice things. That's not a good person. This goes back to my point earlier of him being like a nice guy, you know?
But I don't want to watch that show.
Oh my
It's
God.
so fucking awful.
Uh,
I'm obviously exaggerating for comedic effect, but if I'm being honest, I really that pit in my stomach really bothered me. Like I was
Yeah.
really like off kilter and like
Mhm.
almost queasy with
Yeah.
like how bad I felt with like watching this because in my head I was just like, dude, just go fucking jump off the cliff and fix this. Like, what are you doing? Why do you suck so much? Like, what is happening? Like, obviously you messed up. Like, just admit it and fucking move on. Like,
Yeah.
he had so much growing to do. Like, I knew he had to grow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a part of the show, obvious from the beginning. But the amount he had to grow was not presented until this moment, and
Yes.
it was a fucking lot. It
Yeah.
was hard to watch. It
Yeah.
was hard to watch.
But that's the
You
point.
know?
That's my problem too. It was like, I knew he had to grow, but at no point were they like working on that really. He was growing in such small little amounts, but he was still being fake. So it just felt like I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, if you're not gonna be real, if you're not gonna like actually care or show me that he's trying to change, then why do I'm not gonna watch this show. I don't give a shit. If he's just gonna be the
Yeah.
same character from beginning to end, then I don't need to be watching this. But this is the moment where you realize he has a lot of growing to do, and then the next couple of arcs after that deal with that. Deal with him having to grow.
I think I think it is a flaw of the show that in that moment I felt so bad that I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. However, ultimately I do agree with you because after this moment of showing how deep of a well he had to get out of, the last 10 episodes or so of the show really fucking hit hard.
Mhm.
And like the growing he does is so significant and
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Like the conversations he's having with people, the way he's grappling, the little moments of him trying to like plead with the other candidates for royalty, and the way he has to learn to negotiate and like step up, and just fucking guys, he one of the reasons he sucks is he had this fight with this knife for no fucking reason at all. He through all the loops, at the first he apologizes like a shitty apology, but then he like
Yeah.
really apologizes. But then like by the end, he like asks for forgiveness
Mhm.
in so many words, like in a
Yeah.
significant, real, honest, like growth moment, and it's so satisfying. Did we have to go so deep to get there? I don't know. I feel like I've seen things and felt that way coming out without going that far down.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will say that the writer does fucking scoop us fucking out. Like
Yeah.
the way we get to the end totally emphasizes what you're saying. God, I felt very like icky though. There
But
in
you
the
need
middle. I
low
felt
lows to get high highs. You
uh,
know what I mean?
do
Like
you always though? I don't know.
you need them. It was I don't know. I would
I
have
think you're
hated the
right. I
show
think you're
if
right.
it didn't do this turn. I would have been sitting here absolutely bashing the show. The opposite
Yeah.
of you. You would have gone to Old Man Rom's house and yelled at him. If it stayed this way, I would have gone to his house and yelled at him if it didn't happen at
Go
all.
that way. So just to speak on for a little bit, because we're almost out of time, the after that big moment, basically the last arc is you find out the witch's cult is going to kill Amelia,
Hmm.
or even you even find out really later that they want to use Amelia to resurrect the Witch of Envy, which
Yes.
is we find out has something to do with restart from zero.
Hmm.
Um and the arc is the looping of trying to get Amelia to safety. But the crazy thing is, the first time the loop happens, Subaru hasn't learned shit, and he's doing
Yes.
it for the same shitty reasons, and then he
Hmm.
dies, and then he tries to do it again, pretending to do better reasons, and fails because it's not
Yeah.
real. But then that one breaks him. This was probably one of the hardest moments to
Yeah.
watch because like I was already at a low and he was still not growing, so I was still fucking like we're talking about it like it was one moment, but it was like four or five
Yeah.
episodes
Yeah.
where it's just
Yeah.
like
It was a
fucking
while.
down. And it leads all the way down to that moment where he's literally like catatonic
Hmm.
from fucking PTSD of dying,
Yes. Yeah.
basically.
He basically goes through a whole life just being catatonic.
Yeah, and you get honestly, I think one of the most horrific moments of the show where he meets Sloth from the Witch's Cult, and
Beetlegeist or whatever.
yeah, and Rem and them fight him in the cave, and
Yeah.
Rem gets fucking tortured,
Hmm.
and fucking that's the first time she says like "I love you" to Subaru, and it like fucks him up, and it fucked me up, and I was like fucking
Yeah.
upset, and I was wild, and then it starts to pick up from there,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Well, and then
until the
he
last loop, which is like a big heroic turn.
basically he does the Beetlegeist thing, and then he realizes like, oh, we have to get there early to warn them and protect everybody. But then
Yeah.
there's a giant white whale that like kills
Yeah.
you and makes people forget you existed if you die in the fog. And then
Yeah.
then they have to deal with that. And he's like, oh my god. He's like, I fucking can't do this. And that's when you have the episode where he's like, Rom or Rem, let's run away together because he's like,
Yeah.
I'm broken. But
And honestly, I feel like that moment is the turning point. I feel like
yeah,
100% that moment is 100% the turning point of when it starts to go like this. And
yeah,
I don't know if it has to do with the fact that no one has ever sincerely loved Subaru, and he sees that, and it's the kind of thing where he wants to be worthy of the
Mhm.
love, or if it's just that kind of real emotion signified, oh, what she's describing is what I want with Amelia, so he realizes
Yeah.
that's real love, or I think it's all the things at once,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But from then on, there's no more. Honestly, there's no more Mr. Sad Guy Subaru. There's no more fucking woe is me Subaru.
Mhm.
He fucking tries. Like
Yes.
before in the beginning, he was trying and he was still kind of being shitty. And then he was just being shitty. And then there was just him trying.
Yeah.
And just him trying after all that shittiness. Wow, was that like fucking rewarding,
Yeah, but
right?
that's his whole character growth, right? Like he is a
Yeah.
hikikomori. He is a do nothing person. He does nothing. He wants to sit
Yeah.
at home and do nothing. Oh, that's all he wants to do. And so for him to genuinely try, and not only that, but try for the right reasons, is
Yeah.
like was great to see. It was well
Yeah.
written.
Like he legitimately wants to save Amelia, and even in that last loop, you really see it because he's wearing a disguise, right? When he gets to Amelia to try to save her,
Yes.
like he doesn't want to take credit in those moments.
Exactly. Yeah.
He literally at the beginning he's like, "I am your savior, I am your
Hmm.
hero of my tough destiny, and I'm here."
Yeah. And
And
then and
later on,
then
he's just like, you know,
by the end of
sorry.
the season, he's like, no, he's like, he's not, after they defeat the white whale, he's like, no, I mean, that was all you guys, like, I didn't really do anything. And everyone's like,
But
no,
he actually did a lot.
you did a lot. You
He
helped
did
a
a
lot,
fucking
dude.
lot. He
You
stood
know?
on top of the fucking whale. It was a
And the fact,
badass
I
fucking
love when
moment.
the leader is like, oh, like, look at this piece of shit. Look at this weak piece of shit. He's so weak and frail, and he is out there running to fight
That
this
was great.
whale, and you guys
That
are
was super
doing
great.
nothing. Every single one of you is stronger than him. It was
I love
great.
fucking moments like that. It was really fucking
Yeah.
great, that fucking moment. And also just fucking listen, sorry, I got
I
distracted.
was gonna
So
say.
I got distracted because one of the outfits you can buy with the Rem statue
Oh
is
my
her in a cheerleader
god.
outfit.
Jesus
So
Christ. You and the fucking
so
Rem statue.
so so then it fucking did that great thing that Shonen did where we got like almost like a 3 episode like little mini arc with Wilhelm in the fucking middle of the anime.
Hmm.
And I found out later watching one of Mother's Basement's fucking videos that they did release like a 3 little manga series about Wilhelm as a kid, uh, with his like swordsman wife and
Oh,
like
cool.
fucking marrying her. That's like where that came from. Just like when they did
Oh.
the Kakashi one in Naruto when he
Yes,
was
yes,
young,
yes,
like
yes.
that thing. So it was like from real canon, which was
Hmm.
really nice. Like I thought every time characters show up like that and you think they're nobody but they seem like super like interesting and
Yes.
they take a beat to do that but it doesn't feel like distracting from the story is really rewarding. It was really nice. That whole whale
That's
fight,
pretty awesome.
when it started I was like, this is gonna be stupid. Why the fuck do I give a shit about fighting a fucking white whale? We literally know a cult is coming literally the next day. Who the
Same.
fuck cares about a whale? And
Same.
then the 3 episodes they devoted to the whale, I was like, best fucking part of the
I was
show.
like,
This is
this is
fucking
cool
epic. This is
shit.
fucking
This is
awesome. This
epic.
is fucking
Cool
cool as
fight.
fuck.
I was in
It
the
was
same
so cool.
place. I thought it was gonna be
Yeah.
stupid, and it ended up being really cool.
Yeah. And then we got all the loops of killing the cult and
Hmm.
defeating the cult,
Hmm.
because his re from zero ended up being right after the white whale. Thank God. Like
Thank,
imagine having to do it that way
but
whale
that's
thing
another
again.
thing too that's scary because you never know when the restart from zero thing is going to happen. Like it
Exactly.
could be anything, any moment, and he could be
Yeah.
fucked and have to like restart from a far away save point and then fight the whale again or whatever. And so
Yeah.
that's another thing that adds to the horror aspect of the anime.
Now, what do you think is going on? Because the show does a good job at keeping us in the dark and
Uh huh.
suspense about the Witch of Envy, about what's going on with Subaru.
Yeah.
I have like a couple of random theories, but like, what do you think's going on there with the darkness inside of
Uh,
him and the hands and the
my
cult?
my theory is that the witch wants to use Amelia to bring her body back, right? We know that for a fact because they say it. So
We
she
think
wants to
so,
take
yeah,
over Amelia's body, is what the cult says.
yeah.
So we think
Well,
we
that's what
know
the
that.
cult says. But then the
True.
witch said something that made it seem different
What
for
did the
like
witch
that
say?
1 second. When when Sloth was inside of him and he had the witch come out
Yeah.
and she said the witch was unworthy. I don't. It implied it could have been Amelia, but it didn't say it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was like unclear.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that's her plan, right? So I
Yeah.
think that she brought this guy here, Subaru, to this world and gave him the rebirth power. So
Yeah.
he would fall in love with Amelia and protect her body so that way she can get it when she needs to.
Oh.
So once Amelia's in charge and once
Oh.
Amelia's on the throne, then work her
The witch is
way
gonna.
into Amelia's body.
Oh, Subaru is just a pawn to protect Amelia for the.
That's what I think.
Wow, I didn't think that far into it, and that sounds like super correct.
Oh,
You're very smart.
okay.
You're very smart. That's very. That makes a lot of sense.
I
That
was say,
makes a
what was your
lot of
theory?
sense. Well, I didn't really have one. I was kind of confused. I was like, I know it's the Witch of Envy inside of him.
Hmm.
I, but I'm still confused of like why Subaru, why him,
Yeah,
why at this moment. Like that still isn't clear.
maybe
But
just
I didn't think I
because.
had to do. Yeah, I didn't think it had to do with Amelia. I thought it had to
Mhm.
do with Subaru. I thought there was something about
Oh,
special about
okay.
Subaru. But what you said reinforces the point of the show, right? That
Yeah,
Subaru is not special.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that is the point,
I
which
think
reinforces what you said.
I think maybe she just knew he was. It could even go as far. I don't know if I don't know if I add this as part of my theory or not, but like, it could even go as far as she knew he was a loser and that he would attach himself to the first woman that he saw, kind of thing. You know?
Oh, that's why. Oh, that makes sense. And also, there's a Rem statue where she's wearing a
Oh
blue
my,
witch
oh my
uniform with
god.
like a witch hat, and she's holding like a wand, and she's like, "Here we go."
Guys,
It's like a
join
witch
that
hat.
Patreon and let us help us buy more Rem statues.
That's all I want. All I want are these Rem statues.
You know what? Who my waifu is?
Who?
My waifu is 2B from Near Automata. That's my waifu of choice.
I, what is it?
2B from Near Automata.
How do you spell 2B with the two?
Yeah, number 2, letter B.
Oh, that kind of looks like Rem.
No. She's her
They
own
both have the
character
same
and
hair.
very
They
high.
had
She's
wow.
taller than
They both
Rem.
wow.
Okay.
She's taller than. They're like so much alike, dude. Which one came first?
I don't know. But
I'm
2B
gonna
is
look that up.
better than Rem. So I don't know what you're talking about. They're not the same at all. They look nothing alike. Everyone, Google, do your research.
Wow,
Um,
I feel like they came out the same year because the Near Automata came out in 2017,
oh,
and so
maybe.
did ReZero's, isn't it?
Maybe?
2012. Nope, nope,
Uh,
nope, nope. ReZero's first. Rem
well,
is best girl.
nope. I'm going to fight you so hard. Join the Patreon so I can buy a
But
statue of 2B.
that has nothing to do with what the show we're doing. Stop shilling.
Whatever, I want a 2B
So
statue.
whatever. I want a statue. So yeah. So that's kind of where it leaves off, and then there's that great cliffhanger that I think you might not have gotten because I watched the director's cut.
Oh, okay. What was the cliffhanger for
How
you?
did yours end? What was the last moment of the show?
Um, I don't remember. I think they just wrapped it up nicely and
And they were in a carriage and said, "This is great," and
pretty
goodbye.
much. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow,
Well,
because
oh,
then that was
actually,
just in
it
mine.
was a conversation with Subaru was on Amelia's lap and he had his
Oh,
head
that
on
was
her
the end of
lap.
the show.
That's
That
the
was
end of the
right
show.
before the ending for me, and there was one more scene after that where they were in the carriage driving away, and it was back to cutesy moments, and Subaru said, "There's something I gotta tell you. I'm so sorry. I have to tell you. I don't know why this is weird. I need to tell you. Rem says she's in love with me." And then Amelia looks at him and blinks a couple times, and she says, uh, "Subaru, I'm sorry. Who's Rem?" End credits.
What?
That's the ending of the director's cut.
What is it?
Yes.
How? What?
Yes.
That's stupid.
What is that stupid?
Why? Why? How did that happen? The white whale got her? What happened?
I don't know. Remember, they
Oh
left her
my
back in
god.
town because she was hurt. I have no fucking idea.
Oh my god, Nick.
Uh,
Jesus Christ.
and that is the end of the show, guys. That's ReZero. Is there anything else from the show you want to hit on? We hit most of the characters. We
Yeah, I
hit
would say.
even Julius and people like a little bit, but we can talk about them more if you want.
Oh, they weren't sure they would get a season 2. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Hold on. We got some updates from OldManRom. The anime aired in 2016. The director's cut came out shortly before season 2 in 2020. They weren't sure they would get a season 2 in 2016. Okay, so maybe that's why they ended it that way. And then when they edited it again, they were like, "Ooh, teasy teasy."
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Totally,
cool.
and it totally worked because I was
I,
like, ah.
I would say that there are moments where I'm like, it's very anime-y, where I feel like they could write some of the women characters a little better and flesh them out a little
Yeah.
bit more. Is my biggest criticism, because they feel very one-dimensional, and like even the badass leader of the like who's also gonna be one of the dragon queens or whatever the fuck, like even her, she was like, "Oh, I was thinking about you sexually. You could have been a husband, but I did, like I changed my mind or whatever." Like, I don't know, it's just weird. I was like, why can't these just be two people that respect each other and not bring up like sex or relationships or anything like that? And he's like, "Oh, you would have been my third choice after Rem and whatever." Like, I don't know. It was just awkward after this epic fight to have that like weird conversation.
Her name's Crush Karsten.
Yes.
I maybe I'm too forgiving because the truth is this is still way more characterization for females than we get most of the time.
I know,
Like
but
the
yeah, yeah,
fact
yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that she was like a leader of the army and was like independent and she was like
And her boobs
she
weren't jiggling
oddly
everywhere.
she was wearing armor for the
That's what I'm
fight.
saying. No, I'm
Uh,
saying her boobs weren't jiggling
oh,
everywhere.
oh, they weren't. They weren't.
They
Yeah, yeah,
weren't
yeah,
jiggling
exactly.
everywhere, which is like,
She was actually one of the most sexual characters I've seen in anime that wasn't sexualized like the whole time. Like
mm,
she was using her feminine wiles. She was like saying things in a specific way to flirt and be sexy, but she wasn't walking around in a bikini the whole time. She wasn't like sexualized by everyone else. She was still like super like in charge, like
mhm,
sexy. You know? Like
okay.
I don't know. I think overall like most of the characters like I think it's a big problem in anime and I think out of all the problems I've seen, I would say this is less problematic than
Huh.
most things I've seen.
I would
But I
say
understand
it's
what you
less
mean because you're
problematic
still
than
right.
a
You're
lot,
still
but
right.
it's
You're still
not.
right.
It's still a problem.
Though to be fair, also
Uh huh.
to be fair, the women in this show have infinitely more characterization than any of the guys besides maybe Subaru.
Yes, but
Like I don't know anything
but
about the Lord. I
all
don't
their
know anything about
interactions are like around how great he is, and it just, I don't know. It's kind of, it's getting annoying, but and I think it could be better.
sure.
That's all I'm saying. It could be better. I
Sure.
think that like there is room to grow, and just because it's not the worst that anime has to offer doesn't mean that it's doing the best job either.
I suppose so. I bought it
It's
when
borderline
I
harem, but
bought it.
it's not harem. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it could turn harem
Mm.
at any given moment.
Sure, but I like harem.
Fair.
I grew up on Tenchi Muyo, bro. Get now at this point, all I want in the next season is Subaru with all these girls living in a house together
That's
for no
this is
reason.
why this
That's
is,
all.
there you go.
That's all.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay,
I'm
Nick.
ready for it.
Okay, Nick. What is your challenge for me? Oh, actually, I have we do
Did you
questions.
like the show, Marcus?
I like the show. I hated it in the beginning, and then it turned me to its side. What about you? Did you like the show?
I did a very big up, down, up, but very high up by the end. I was
Nice,
very
nice,
satisfied
nice.
with the way that final arc really, really fucking grew Subaru, and I'm really excited about how it ended.
Would you recommend this show?
Yeah, yeah. I think anybody
Nice.
that likes anime tropes, likes shonen, would enjoy the show. I think it play anybody that likes anime and are self-aware enough to notice when they're playing with tropes like a One
Mhm.
Punch Man or something like that is like really like up their wheelhouse. I think would love this.
Yeah.
And even if you're just like you love anime and you're a fucking weeboo, I also think you would love this because all the tropes are still there. If
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
if you're not big brain enough to know why why it's
Oh my
why
god.
it's circumventing those things, then you'll still love the show. There's like pretty girls and cool fights.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty girls and cool fights.
Listen, Rem is best girl. I'm just saying.
Oh my god. I would recommend the show, I think.
Yeah.
I think ah I don't know. When I was thinking about this question earlier, I was like, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you can make it through 18 episodes, but also there's a chance you might like it before that. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
did.
worth watching.
Yeah. Agree with
Um,
that. Agreed.
are you gonna
And
continue
last,
watching?
I am yes. Like
Okay.
it's just a hard yes for me. Yeah. I really liked it. I'm really excited to watch more.
I think I'm
You?
going to continue watching, but I think I'm gonna switch to the director's cut version.
There's only a director's cut for the first season.
Oh, on Crunchyroll it said there was for season 2.
On HBO there was only 20-minute episodes for season 2.
Oh, on Crunchyroll it had like season 1 director's cut and season 2 director's cut, I think. But let me look.
Hey, well if that's the case, more power to you.
Hell yeah.
It's not on HBO Max. And I also am going to continue watching it. Marcus, that's the show. Thank you to Old Man Ron one more
Yeah.
time for giving us ReZero.
Yeah, thank you, Old Man Rom.
You have affected our lives. I was
Mhm.
honestly it was formative. This was a different experience that I've experienced before in an anime, and uh I'm glad I watched it. I'm really glad I watched it.
Season 2 does have a director's cut on Crunchyroll.
Oh, weird. Cool.
So I might watch that instead of the regular version.
Well, I'm watching an HBO, so I guess I'm gonna go to the regular.
Okay. Nick, your challenge to me before we end the episode.
Listen, I didn't want to do it. I was sitting here before we started the podcast saying, Marcus, I think I know what I'm going to give you, but I don't want to do it. And you said, no, I want something old and irrelevant. I want
Oh no.
something easy because, guys, we have just watched a whole season, a brand new movie, a whole season.
Mhm.
We are tired. We need a break. We need something to turn our brains off. We need something that is easy to watch, that's easily digestible,
Mhm.
that we're going to make an easy episode on. And, guys, it's my challenge this week, so don't worry.
Mhm.
I got you. I'm going to give us all that. Marcus, your challenge is a little movie from 2007 that I watched a bunch. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. It's got everything. It's got teenage angst. It's got music. It's got friendship.
Okay.
And it's based off of a very popular doll series. Marcus, next week we're doing the Breast movie.
Oh my
Pew, pew, pew.
god. Jesus
2007
Christ.
Breast.
Oh my god. Old
Breast.
Man Rom saved me.
Breast
He
movie.
gave me something good to watch, and now I'm gonna have to watch Bratz again.
It's not my gratitude.
Oh my
Get the
god. Is it a
latitude.
musical?
It's my attitude.
I hate you
It's my
so much.
gratitude.
I hate you.
2007. And Marcus,
You're a monster.
and for everyone out there, guys, you can all watch this for $0. This movie is so good, in such high demand, and is so popular. It is for free to watch on YouTube right now. The whole entire movie, legally, it's just there to watch.
Oh
on
my
YouTube.
god. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna watch Bratz next week. I guess we'll discuss. We'll discuss.
It's not my gratitude.
Oh my god.
Guys, follow us everywhere at Now Try This Cast. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/Now Try This Cast. Become a patron. Join the conversation. Next month is October. We're really excited about it. More news coming your way about that soon. Go ahead and watch us live on twitch.tv/Now Try This Cast every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mhm.
Pick up the episode every Monday, wherever you get your podcast. And guys, if you can't give money, if you don't have Instagram, you can't do anything, just go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps the visibility of the show, and we'll be eternally grateful.
Hell yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hit up that Patreon, hit up all those sites, and go out there and try some things.
Good night.
Good night.